As you all know, it's currently 38, 39, even up to 40 degrees outside. It feels like being inside a blazing sauna, and it's hard to breathe. The heat wave is that serious. Most of South Korea is under a heat wave advisory, with a severe heat wave warning in many parts of the capital region and parts of Jeollanam-do. A severe heat wave warning is issued when the highest perceived temperature is expected to be 38 degrees or higher, or the highest actual temperature is expected to be 39 degrees or higher for at least one day, in areas where the highest perceived temperature of 35 degrees or more has continued for more than 2 days. So far, 65% of the metropolitan area is under a severe heat wave warning. Right now, damage from the heat wave is rapidly increasing. Until last month, on July 13th, 12 people suffered from heat-related illnesses, setting a new daily record for heat-related patients in Seoul. However, on August 2nd, there were 18 cases, on August 3rd, 25 cases, and on August 5th, 39 people in Seoul suffered from heat-related illnesses. As the scale increased nationwide, even more people suffered from heat-related illnesses. Especially this year, from May 15th, the cumulative number of heat-related illness cases reached 250, including 2 deaths. Especially for those who have to work outdoors or farm, they have no choice but to go outside, so the damage from this is rapidly increasing. Above all, professional baseball is also suffering greatly from the heat wave. The KBO announced that due to the ongoing nationwide heat wave and safety concerns for spectators and players, they will hold an emergency executive committee meeting on the 21st to discuss countermeasures. As a result, all 5 KBO League games and all Futures League games scheduled for the 5th and 6th have been canceled. A spectator in their 20s lost consciousness and collapsed at the stadium due to extreme heat during the game. After the game, more spectators collapsed, with up to 25 suspected heat-related illness cases. Additionally, the National Fire Agency raised the fire risk warning to the highest level. Due to the intense heat wave, air conditioners are used much more often. Consequently, fire risks from air conditioning equipment have risen. Immediately, the average number of fires per day, which was 84, increased by 19.4% to 100.8 cases from July 10th to 27th when the heat wave warning was expanded. From July 17 to August 4, the daily average rose to 116.9 cases, a 15.9% increase from up to July 20. In just 1 month, there were 32 more fire incidents. This kind of heat wave damage is not unique to Korea. It's no exaggeration to say the world is trapped under a heat dome as heat wave damage rises everywhere. In Austria, the capital city Vienna recorded a maximum temperature of 41 degrees Celsius. With severe drought on top of that, some areas are experiencing a 90% decrease in rainfall compared to the average year. Slovakia also set a new national record, reaching 41.4 degrees Celsius. Due to the prolonged heat wave and drought, the Danube River's water level has reached a record low. Across Europe, the record heat wave has caused over 1,300 more deaths than usual, leading to a surge in casualties. On top of that, wildfires are also a serious problem in Europe. According to a report by the Financial Times, the damage from wildfires in Europe this year has exceeded 3 billion euros. This figure far surpasses the EU's annual average damage of 2.5 billion euros. There are even assessments that say the wildfire damage just this year could exceed 3 times the amount of damage caused by wildfires in the EU from 2011 to 2018. The situation is also serious in the US. In Phoenix, Arizona, the daytime high hit 46.7 degrees Celsius. Las Vegas, Nevada recorded 46.1 degrees, and El Centro, California recorded 47.8 degrees. As a result, this kind of heat wave has had a significant impact on our daily lives. So what exactly is the reason behind this unprecedented heat? This heat wave is mainly caused by the North Pacific high pressure system, with the Tibetan high overlapping above it. In the upper atmosphere, the hot, dry Tibetan high is present, while in the mid to lower atmosphere, the hot, humid North Pacific high dominates. These 2 high-pressure systems are stacked vertically, creating a structure where thick layers of hot air are piled up. Under high pressure, sinking air currents develop. The air being pushed down from above gets compressed as the pressure increases, causing its temperature to rise gradually. At the same time, the descending air currents prevent clouds from forming and growing. With the clouds gone, the intense heat energy from the sun strikes the ground directly, heating up the surface intensely. Because of this, it's fair to say the Korean peninsula feels like a scorching furnace. However, the main cause is global warming. Currently, an unprecedentedly strong El Niño is happening on Earth. Climate scientists are closely monitoring sea surface temperature as the key indicator. Foreign news reports say global sea surface temperatures have matched 2024 levels since last May and have set record highs nearly every day in June. According to a survey by the European Copernicus Climate Change Service, it has been confirmed that about 82% of the entire ocean surface on Earth is experiencing marine heatwave conditions this year. James Hansen, a NASA climate scientist who has been professionally studying climate change for over 40 years, predicted that this year's temperature will slightly surpass that of 2024 and set a new record. He explained that since the ocean covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface, the massive heat generated in the ocean is reflected in the global average temperature with a time lag of about a month and a half. He went on to warn that as the heat from the ocean is transferred to the atmosphere, the Earth as a whole has now reached a dangerous point where it is beginning to break all sorts of temperature records in earnest. The sea surface temperature, which has become so intensely heated, is clearly signaling the arrival of a super strong El Niño. El Niño is a natural phenomenon in which the sea surface temperature in certain areas of the equatorial Pacific continues to rise, rapidly raising the Earth's average temperature and causing extreme distortions in weather patterns around the world. Currently, most weather forecasting models predict that the upcoming El Niño will be the strongest ever recorded in observation history. Experts say that the rise of a super strong El Niño is also due to human-caused climate change. Zachary Labe, a climate scientist at the nonprofit scientific organization Climate Central, explained that while El Niño originally serves to release heat accumulated in the ocean into the atmosphere, much more heat is now trapped in the ocean due to greenhouse gases. As a result, the amount of heat released into the atmosphere this time will be incomparably greater. He emphasized that the total amount of heat accumulated in the Earth's oceans is an indicator proving climate change caused by human activity, and that this figure is breaking record highs almost every day. Climate experts are expressing even more serious concerns about the heat that will come next year compared to this year. There are some differing opinions among scholars about whether 2026 will break the record for the highest temperature ever, but most experts agree that in 2027 temperatures will soar much higher than this year, making it very likely to be recorded as the hottest year since weather observations began. This means that the heat wave in 2026 is just a preview. Such a severe El Niño is expected to eventually cause great damage to humanity. As I mentioned earlier, the sea surface temperature is already being evaluated as the highest since at least 1982, and some media outlets have even mentioned that it could be the strongest case since 1950. But as El Niño becomes more severe, heat waves also become more intense. The problem is that this triggers food shortages. The WFP has projected that the number of people suffering from food shortages could increase by 49 million, reaching 274 million. This is a 22% increase compared to previous estimates. And the economic damage is expected to reach $4 trillion by 2030, which is 5,768 trillion won. However, the problem is that it's now too late to try to solve the issue of global warming. Even if everyone on Earth turned off electricity and reverted to a primitive lifestyle right now, it's unclear if we could halt the major trend of climate change. The Earth's self-recovery capacity has exceeded its limits, and we've passed the climate system's tipping point. Major climate organizations like the World Meteorological Organization warn we must keep Earth's temperature rise below 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels to ensure humanity's survival. However, the World Meteorological Organization has officially announced that in 2025, the Earth's average temperature increase had already completely surpassed the 1.5 degree threshold and tipping point. Earlier, Copernicus Climate Change Service researchers from the European Union reported that Earth's temperature rise exceeded the 1.5 degree tipping point in 2023. As major international organizations and specialized climate research institutions have officially confirmed one after another, the climate threshold that humanity promised to protect together has already been disastrously breached. Immediate action from all of humanity is needed to stop global warming, but so far we are not seeing any such action at all. Especially, the powerful nations leading the world economy keep running their factories under the pretext of national interests and industrial competitiveness, and are releasing massive amounts of greenhouse gases and carbon into the atmosphere every day. Even as the entire planet is burning and countless lives are at risk, national interests and political calculations get in the way, so real carbon reduction agreements always end up going nowhere or remain just empty slogans. Even at this very moment, the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is reaching new highs every second, and it's as if we are stepping on the accelerator toward disaster ourselves. Even after crossing the tipping point, humanity still refuses to end selfish fights over its own interests. Now, all that remains for us is to endure the even more devastating and scorching disaster that is coming, and no one will be able to escape from this great tragedy.